Sifuna says the call for President William Ruto to resign is very clear. The Orange Party is to this end calling for the government to take full responsibility for the deaths and abductions witnessed in the country.
As protests continue to rock different parts of the nation, the ODM party now wants the government to pay close attention to the voices of the people, saying events of last week should be warning enough that Kenyans have lost hope and faith in the leadership of the country. The party has also castigated the use of excessive force on protesters, calling on the government to take full responsibility for the death occasioned by the guns during the exercising of the democratic right to picket.
What happened on the 25th of June 2024 amounted to a vote of no confidence in the Ruto regime. It is clear that this fact is totally lost on Ruto. It is reflected in his petulant proposals on how we manage our economy following the rejection of his tax bill. Instead of focusing on cutting wastage, opulence and corruption in his regime, he is hitting back at the Kenyan people with threats to cut funding for the judiciary and the county governments. We were shocked to watch the president claim on live television that only one life was lost. It tells you how out of touch with reality he is.
As discontent continues to be felt across the divide, the Orange Party says it is standing in solidarity with the Kenyan population.
The youth have given our country our last best chance. We either seize it and swim with it by implementing all their demands, or we ignore it and sink the country altogether. Number 3, that the Kenya Kwanza regime must take full responsibility for all the deaths, injuries and destruction of property arising from the violent suppression of peaceful protests. The president must publicly direct his security organs to forthwith seize the ongoing abductions, an exercise that we believe is being undertaken with his full approval and the approval of the state. He must account for and order the release of all detainees abducted by these security agencies.
They are protests that came as a result of the Finance Bill 2024. And now, to stand in solidarity with the disgruntled Kenyan population, the party says it has started the process of recalling 6 members of parliament that went against the wishes of the people.
ODM shall initiate and lead recall processes in the following constituencies in light of the current office holders' repeated violation of their sacred oath and the wishes of their electorate. Number 1, Game constituency. Number 2, Bondo constituency. Number 3, Navaholo constituency. Number 4, Kajiado Central. Number 5, Ikolomani. And lastly, Suba South in Homa Bay.
Brian Amuai, K24, Nairobi.
Kenyans will soon be forced to dig deeper to access cooking oil for their households after the government imposes a 10% import duty on crude palm oil, which is a critical component to produce not only in producing cooking oil, but also margarine, soap, among others. Further, the prices of mobile phones are also set to shoot as Kenya, in a Gazette, suspended the application of the common European tariff rate of 0%, applying a tax rate of 25% for 1 year. This comes as the East African Community Gazette was released entailing measures approved on import duty rates in the EAC external tariff. Linda Koskei with the details of that report.
I concede, and therefore I will not sign.
Even before the dust settles on the recently withdrawn Finance Bill 2024 that Kenyans rejected over its burdening effect of tax to Kenyans, the 135-page document in the East African Community EAC Gazette notice is out with another round of agreed tax measures that will guide tax payments amongst the East African communities. Among the products that Kenyans will have to bear the brunt includes the price of cooking oil that will go up as the government imposes a 10% import duty on crude oil, which is a major component in making of the commodity. Other refined oils, which have been slapped with higher taxes, are refined soybean oil, RDB palm oil, sunflower oil, and refined corn oil, which Kenya has imposed a duty rate of 25% for 1 year. Diapers, which had also raised concerns in the Finance Bill 2024, is also not left out. Kenya and other EAC members will apply a duty rate of 35% for 1 year, a 10% rise from the previous tax rate. This will set stage for expensive baby diaper for most households. In a country with 119.9% mobile penetration, according to the Communications Authority, with access of mobile phones because of its affordability, the numbers might soon drop as the commodity has also been slapped with a duty rate of 25% for 1 year, and television sets will now apply a duty rate of 35% up from 25% last year. The Kenya Revenue Authority KRA will now embed the decisions into its systems to ensure that they are implemented. But this is unlikely to happen, especially after what happened with the Finance Bill 2024 as initially proposed. Linda Koskei, K24 TV.
Elsewhere, thousands of Kenyans, especially the youth, turned up across the country to engage in the anti-government demonstrations today, with several people nursing injuries and businesses counting losses after goons disguised as protesters destroyed properties and looted businesses. Students were not spared this time, as many were seen scampering for safety with tear gas canisters polluting the air and protesters engaging the police in running battles. Busara Naman reports.
From street songs and dances to playing football on the streets as police watched Gen Z demos in Kisumu shut down the city for the better part of the day. Demonstrators from all walks of life came out in their large numbers, marched peacefully on the streets of the lakeside city while calling on the current regime to leave office, maintaining that he has lost legitimacy. They declined calls for dialogue by the president, saying that he can't be trusted and that he should speak through actions rather than words.
Unaona pesa natumia kama State House juzi wamenunua maviti ya 1 billion. 1 billion izafanya nini kwa common mwananchi? Sasa corruption yenye iko Kenya sahi ni mbaya. Sisi hatuna mbaya ushuru, lakini vile wanatumia ushuru ndio ni mbaya. Corruption ndio ni mbaya kwa hii serikali ya serikali ya Ruto. Ndio maana tunasema kama hawezi kukaa hapo then yeye aende.
The reason why you feel that the youths have got that pain in their heart is because each and every place where you go, youth keeps on crying. They cry for job opportunities. And as we look as the president, he promises that when he gets into the seat, he will allocate vacancies for the jobs for the youth. But automatically, we see that it's a lie to Mr. President. So automatically, we are tired of his leadership. That's why we are out, and we have insisted that whether what happens, Mr. President, automatically, he has to step out of the State House. That's our agenda as the youths.
However, there have been reports of mugging in Kachok, Nyalenda area by goons who have infiltrated the demos after demonstrators had been dispersed. In Kitengela, Kajiado County, what started as peaceful demos also turned into chaos, forcing the police to use tear gas to disperse the hundreds of protesters. Day school learners who reported to their respective schools were caught up in the protests, leaving parents in panic mode, maneuvering clouds of tear gas with their uniformed children as the buses could not ply the Nairobi-Namanga road. Hell broke loose at around midday when police officers attempted to remove stones used to barricade the Nairobi-Namanga road. At the same time, goons disguised as protesters destroyed properties and looted businesses in the area, leading to a major loss to the business fraternity.
I'm very disappointed, by the way. There is no way Ruto can lie to us that serikali ni ya watu wa hustlers. Like seriously, are we feeling that thing? So, mimi nasema hivi, Ruto has been lying to us day and night. Juzi ametudanganya, hata akiwa kwa live presidential round table alitudanganya. We are not ready for this. We will not calm down. Bado hata akiua mmoja leo, kesho mwingine atakuwa. Hatutaongoja. We want change in this nation.
Mimi najaribu kutoroka na vitu zangu, wengine wanakuja pande hiyo wananiibia vitu, wanaenda nayo. Sasa unashindwa. Ni watoto tunatafutia ama ni watu wengine, sijui ni machokora ama ni nini tunafanya kweli.
In Migori County, protesters barricaded roads using stones and bonfires. Transport was paralyzed for the better part of the day before the intervention by the police. In Kilifi County, hundreds of protesters took to the streets chanting anti-Rutos songs. The youth demonstrated peacefully as they called for a change in governance. Busara Naman, K24 TV.
Well, it's time for us to take another break right here on K24 Evening Edition. I'll be back with more updates in a short while.